Okay. If you cannot see the screen, then we're going to send a text to the out. Otherwise, I'm getting started. Basically, what I thought I would do would be to just briefly touch on installing the lockdown browser into a quiz and then show the kind of different wrinkles that we've discovered that have come up recently. So let's go ahead and look at a quiz in general. And I've already got lockdown browser installed in these two. One of them is this A1 safety video quiz here. You'll notice it says required respondents lockdown browser in classic. That means I've got that installed and it's a classic quiz, pardon me. And this one up here, respondents test 2 new quizzes. This one is a new quiz. So I'm going to go through the classic quizzes first. I believe that's what everybody uses for the most part. And it's actually currently still a lot easier to use. Is there a question? Sorry. Okay. All right. It's a lot easier to use the classic quizzes. So, in fact, I'm going to say we recommend that. I'll leave that to Todd, but for my part, I would say if at all possible, use the classic quizzes. So let's go ahead and look really quickly. Of course, what you would do if lockdown browser is not already installed, you click on the lockdown browser link here. And when it opens the desktop, you'll see a list of all the quizzes that it's possible to install on. That one was, in fact, was first in the A1 video quiz. You click there, go to settings, and then by default, it would be do not require, and you change that. You set the different parameters that you want to keep and then hit save and close. I'm not going to go through the parameters because that everyone probably already knows that. It's just kind of an introduction. So I'm going to hit save and close, but now here's the new wrinkle that we discovered. So with this quiz, if we wanted to, there are 2 paths we can follow here. First of all, lockdown browser no longer automatically updates the instructions of the quiz to tell your students where to go to download the browser. There are 2 things that you can do. Number one, you see this getting started tab over here in the desktop. This video, you can pretty much the same video from the page you're used to. But here in section 2, it says give instructions to students. This is where you can get some help. First of all, we're dealing with classic quizzes here. So you click on the classic quizzes radio button. And then based on what requirements you have for your test, whether it's just the browser, whether it's the webcam monitor, or whether you're doing your Zoom meeting, you click on this link. So let's say I'm just using the lockdown browser. I'm requiring it for my quiz. I will click on this link. It brings up a page here that says edit the instructions below to suit your needs. What they want you to do is copy this information and paste it into the instructions of your quiz. This is where lockdown browser used to edit your quiz for you. The instructions, you used to put the instructions on how to download the application. It doesn't do that anymore. So you have to do that yourself. You can select this information and copy it, paste that into the instructions of your quiz, and that gives them, if you look right here, that is the link that they would need to click on to download the lockdown browser application specific to Grayson College. That is where they would need to go. This has probably been the biggest question for the last, not so much with classic quizzes, but with new quizzes. This doesn't show up. So you can paste this in, and it will, in fact, have this link there that students can go to. They click on the link, they download the application, and they go from there.
Regan, this is for classic quizzes or new quizzes?
This is for classic quizzes.
Okay.
This is for classics, and you can do that. Now, the other path, classic quizzes, I said there were 2 ways to deal with that. Let's go back and look at the quiz itself. So, say I'm a student. I'm going to go into student view. And that was the A1 quiz. So I'm going to click on it. You can just leave it for your students like this. Notice I don't have a link in there. I don't have any instructions whatsoever. But when they click on take the quiz, it tells them this quiz requires the browser If you have not already installed it, you can download it here, and it still gives them the link. But they have to click on the button that says take the quiz. And that is the change. This link used to be in the instructions, lockdown browser. When you added it to a quiz, it automatically updated the instructions. Now it does not. You either have to update it manually, or you have to let your students click on the take the quiz button, and then they will get this link there. So it's a complicated process. I don't think they've included it by changing that. But regardless, those are for classic, and this is specifically for classic quizzes. Those are the two paths to get your students to this download link, get the application. All right. Are there any questions for that part? Okay. In that case, let's go and look at.
Yeah, I have a question, Regan. So basically, there's two ways you can do the classic quizzes.
There are two ways. You can paste in the information yourself.
From the information that they give you.
Correct. Let me go back to get us to. I'll go back to it again. I'll really quickly look. So, lockdown browser monitor, the link in the desktop, the getting started tab. Classic quizzes, and you have to adjust this because it changes the contents of these links. Classic quizzes, and you pick which requirements for your test you have. That is where you can copy the information, paste it into the instructions of the quiz, if you choose to do that. Otherwise, you can just go into the.
And so that one, it has the link, and that's one way they can get the link. So they can get the link there, or just by taking the quiz.
Or you can just have your students go in, and when they see the button that says take the quiz,
yeah,
it will take the button. It no longer, well, in fact, if they click on it, it takes them and shows you. This is the page that used to be edited into your instructions that you used to never get sent.
Makes me wonder why they put that link there when students are going to counter it anyway, right?
That is a fair question, and I really have no answers.
Yeah, they just did.
That doesn't make any sense to me either, Todd.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing now on the classic versus new quizzes.
Yes.
Is if you are using classic quizzes in Canvas,
yes,
that's what you need to choose. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So if we chose to use new quizzes, we need to come in here and tell it new quizzes in Canvas. Okay. All right. I mean, in lockdown browser.
Yeah. There's a couple of other twists in there.
Thank you. Reagan, you're a little bit hard to hear. You were kind of picket fencing at one point. I don't know if that's just my network connection or what, but we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you.
Let me turn my volume up here.
Yeah, there's an echo.
Okay, better or worse? You should say better or worse or the same.
Like same.
Yeah, about the same, and that echo may be because I have mine on and we're all in the same building here. Just about, except Deborah.
It still sounds the same to me too.
Okay.
Try that. Better or worse?
I can hear Todd just fine, but Reagan, it's hard to understand.
Hang on just a second. Go and change my mic and then turn it out my mic.
All right, testing. Is that better?
Yes,
Much better.
Okay.
Much.
All right. So let me go back now and just kind of recap what I just hit, just for the sake of clarity. There are two ways to get Lockdown Browser into a quiz for classic quizzes only. Basically, from a classic quiz, you can either just let the students take the quiz, click on the button. Let's say, for example, they were going to take this quiz. They would click on take the quiz button, and it would give them the link to the download page, which used to be automatically inserted. It's not anymore. So they have to click on that link to get there. On the other hand, if you want to put that information in there, you can find it in the dashboard for, there we go, for the Lockdown Browser Monitor dashboard. You go to Getting Started, make sure that you have Classic Quizzes selected, and then based on the parameters for your test, click on the link, copy this information, and paste it in yourself. So those are two ways that you can get the information that your students need on how to take the test. So is everybody comfortable with Classic Quizzes? I'm going to take that as a yes. Okay, so now looking at new quizzes, thank you very much. Looking at new quizzes, that is a little bit different because they don't offer you the option of clicking on the button and going directly in. What you need to do for new quizzes is go ahead and just update the copy the information. So once again, if I'm going to add Lockdown Browser to a new quiz, then I need to come back into the Getting Started tab. And this time I need to select the New Quizzes button. And then based on the parameters, I can select my information here and I can copy it. Now you'll notice that instead of having a link to download, it just has the link to the video, but it doesn't have the link to download the application. That comes when you click on the button like we did with Classic Quizzes. The New Quizzes information does not have, and this is what I've had a couple of questions earlier this year. The students were looking for the link to download. They have to actually click on the test and try to take it, and it will take them to the link to download. However, for an instructor, this is a problem, and let me show you why. Because if you want to add Lockdown Browser to a new quiz, and you want to test it to see if it's working at all, I've got it added to this quiz. I click on Student View. I try to take the quiz, and I get the evil robot error in Canvas. It's a 403 forbidden page error. New quiz Lockdown Browser does not work in the generic student view. So you have to get a student to test it for you, basically. And so beyond being just flabbergasted that they would leave a bug like that in there, there's no way that you can test whether or not this new quiz Lockdown Browser is working without having a student try it, because frankly, it does not work with the the student view, the generic student view. So for new quizzes, if you're going to use those, you have to basically paste the instructions into the instructions of your quiz. But then you also have to, I'm going to say, find somebody to help you test it, because you cannot do it in student view. It will not let you get to the quiz in student view. To be honest, I would, if at all possible, if there's any way around it, don't use new quizzes yet, just to be honest. It's especially if you're going to use them with Respondus, because it just doesn't work reliably enough. Classic quizzes are okay. You can get there, you can test it. But with the new quizzes, there's just no way to test it in student view. The only way you're going to know if it's working correctly is if the students actually do it. And by that point, it's generally too late. So that is my take on Respondus Lockdown Browsers and what's required to get them. A couple of things I did want to share, though, and this is another problem that we're really running into here at the help desk for Canvas. The students don't seem to realize that Lockdown Browser is a completely separate application. They have the idea that it's some kind of a browser plugin or something. And so when they do download it, then they try to take the quiz still in Chrome. And that's a real serious issue. They click on the quiz and it still says Lockdown Browser is required, and they get frustrated because, well, I've downloaded it. Why can't I make my quiz work now? It's because it's an entirely separate browser. It is not part of Chrome at all. They have to close Chrome completely down, and then they have to open up Lockdown Browser itself from the desktop.
Yeah.
So that might be another thing that we could paste into the instructions. I've got a video available on YouTube right now, but the links are available on our website and also on the website for the help desk that explains very carefully how to download it, how to install it, and then how to take a quiz in that. I would really like to put that in every class in the school that uses Lockdown Browser, but it's because, like I said, it's probably the number one issue that we have is trying to get people into Lockdown Browser, get them to realize that it's a completely separate application. So,
and to be honest, not to rag on Lockdown Browser too hard. I do like to rag on them a little bit,
Yeah.
but not to rag on them too hard, but they don't make that very clear in their instructions. When a student downloads the Lockdown Browser, they think they're done often. And we know this because we get so many contacts from the help desk. What they don't know, what Lockdown Browser could make clear is now that you've downloaded it, you have a new browser on your desktop and an icon on your desktop. And so the student has to click on that icon and log into Canvas all over again because now they're in a new browser. Lockdown Browser is not clear on that point, and it leads to hours of help desk questions. So
I'm going to go ahead and unshare my screen unless there are any questions or anything I can demonstrate. All right.
Well, I do have a question. Does anybody here, is anybody here using new quizzes or a big fan of new quizzes?
Boy, it sounds quiet out there.
Oh,
No new quizzes.
I used it one mini-semester and swore never again.
Oh,
So, hey, just Reagan, you said that you had something that we could put into our modules.
Absolutely. I have a link to a video that goes through step by step how to install it, but not only how to install it, how to open it up after you've installed it, and how to actually navigate to a quiz and how to actually take the quiz, and then close Lockdown Browser and reopen Canvas and go back to work.
Is that available where we can
Absolutely.
our classes?
I will send that to you and you can share it far and wide.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you do, we'll get it and maybe we can post it in the Faculty Association Canvas page if Gina.
That would be great.
Thank you.
And that's all I've got.
excellent. So basically, if you're using classic quizzes, it should be the same experience. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Although there is their dashboard now has an option to copy and paste some information with a link in it. People using new quizzes, it's going to be a little bit different experience. Didn't used to work with new quizzes, now it does. So, okay, excellent.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Okay, I can't figure out how to get my face there, but on one of those screens that you were showing earlier at the bottom where it said take this quiz.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how did you get that? How did you get that?
Let me go back in. And that is just the quiz itself. So
Right.
we're looking at the quiz, and for the classic quiz, pardon me, classic quiz, this would be in student view. So this is what the students would see. So this is their list, their modules and everything. They would click on the quiz like they were going to take it. They would see your instructions, and then they would see this blue button at the bottom that says take the quiz.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Yes.
That automatically appears.
That does.
Got it.
It does. And then when they click on it, it takes them to the download link.
Okay.
Oh.
I didn't remember that from, I've slept since then.
Right. I understand. Also, if they click on that in Respondus Lockdown Browser, if they're not in Chrome, but they're actually in the Respondus browser, that's what takes them to the test itself. So that's how they would take it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know we have a few users of Respondus Monitor also on the call. I think Vicky, I know, uses it, and I think Wade. How has that been going, Vicky and Wade, on your use of that? I don't get too much feedback on it.
So far, so good.
Nice.
It works pretty good. Sometimes I don't understand this, but sometimes they'll log in to take the test and there's no of the pictures or the video. And I don't know how they're getting access without it, but it doesn't happen very often.
Vicky, I figured that one out. They're putting a piece of black tape over the webcam. They're putting a piece of tape over the webcam so it's dark, but yet the webcam is still detected. And so therefore respondents will go on and let them do the test.
Well, it doesn't really work out well in my class because then I make them come to the testing center and do a retest. So,
all right.
Yeah, good for you.
That's fair.
Perfect. Yeah.
Hey, there is a new feature for those using the webcam under advanced settings. There is a show your work feature that you can check mark, and it will tell the students to take a photo, hold up whatever if they were allowed like a 1-page sheet or something like that, or if they were allowed a piece of paper to do something on, hold that up to the camera at the end of the session. That's fairly new. I used that over the Minimester. That was a nice addition.
Nice.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
but other than that, still about the same. There's also a notification that they added that says, hey, we can't see your face. If you have facial detection, if you have that checkbox, have it checked.
Nice.
Under proctoring. And that I thought there was another new feature, but for the life of me, I don't remember what it was.
Right.
But anyhow, it's they're making some progress.
Yep. Yeah, I will say, it is, like I say, when I started, it is the most complex ed tech tool we use. However, it's the competitors of lockdown browsers, such as HonorLock, which we tried a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
If we could afford it, I would take HonorLock in a second. It's so much better, but it's literally over 10 times as expensive. So
yeah,
So lockdown browser is a great tool for what we pay for it, which is less than 10,000.
Yeah, I love the HonorLock. It would set off their cell phone. Wee.
Yeah, right.
or their computer, depending upon what they were using, sounded an alarm if it detected them using a second device.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. Right. And was using AI proctoring, I believe, as well.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford it. It was that like $40,000 or something like that.
I remember it as 100,000.
Oh heavens, that's even worse.
Yeah, but it's a nice tool. Yeah,
yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, that's all we have. So unless there's any questions, anybody has any other, if we have new users of Lockdown Browser, if you want to stay on, we can help you with that.
Right.
Thank you.
Other than that, thank you. Have a good spring 2024 and reach out to a help desk if we can help you with Lockdown Browser or anything else.
All right.
All right.
I'm going to hang on because I do have a couple questions. We're going to be newer.
Okay, Deborah. That's perfect.
Okay.
Go ahead, Deborah. What's your question?
So what we changed from MindTap, to SEMA. And so in SEMA, they did have a lockdown browser that we attached to our tests and they were able to do, but it was none of the computers or a lot of the computers in the testing lab here, it would either recognize it or it wouldn't. And then they had to do it, of course, every time on some computers. One computer, it would just wipe it away and they'd have to go in there and then we'd have a group of students and maybe over half of them could not access the test because it would not. So I was looking to see if we can just put everything into lockdown browser here and take away that one.